beautiful people. I am Lexi and I am a plant beginner. I have recently started my journey delving into the world of houseplants, and I really felt compelled to create this video to ultimately document my journey. I say beginner, but I'm kind of a little more experienced, but by no means am I a professional. I just have collected a few plants over the past year, and I've done some research and found out some valuable information on how to care for my plants. So if you are somebody who is interested in collecting houseplants or starting to get some houseplants in your home, and you feel a little maybe overwhelmed by a lot of the YouTube channels these days who just have like these beautiful jungles, and don't get me wrong, like that's a goal of mine. Like I would love to have tons of plants just throughout my whole entire house, but it could be a little intimidating when you're starting, right? So I just felt that sharing and documenting my journey would be a lot of fun to, just kind of show anybody who's wanting to get into the plant world that, you got to start somewhere, and starting small is totally fine. And it's a journey, right? It's going to be a process over time. I'm not going to just like buy, and I'm in no place to like buy tons of plants and just fill my house with plants. So I am on a journey of slowly collecting plants, and if you want to join my journey and kind of see where we can go with this, then subscribe. I'd love to have you with us. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. We're just gonna take a quick tour throughout my house. I'm gonna show you what plants I have and just share a little bit of information, things that I've learned, maybe some few tips and tricks. So let's get into it. Alright, so starting off in my kitchen here, I have a monstera here that's in water. This one was about to die. So I had put it in a pot that was too big, and the roots started to rot, and it was sad. I was like, I can't let this plant die. A little bit of research, I figured out that it had a root rot. So what I did is I took it out of the pot that I had it in. I cleaned up the roots. I cut a bunch of the roots off. Anything that was just sick and ill, brown and mushy, I cut it all off, and then I put it in a container here with the fresh water. And it's doing really good. I have roots growing, a lot of the new roots you can see growing on here. There's some new leaves coming in, so I'm debating if I want to repot some of these into soil or just leave it in the water, because one thing about monstera is that you can actually leave it in water and it'll grow fine and happily in there as long as you're changing out the water weekly. So I'm still on the fence about that. I feel like that's like a lot of maintenance. So I might take a piece of that or one part of the plant and put that in soil and dirt, and then let the rest sit in water. So let me know what you think I should do there. The next plant I have here is this fig tree. It's a weeping fig, and this one it's gonna be a slow grower, which is totally fine. There's some parts in here that are a little dry. I'm still kind of trying to figure this plant out as far as how it likes to be watered. It is getting some new growth, so I'm really happy about that, but I just keep an eye on this one. I know it doesn't like to be very wet. I might need to give it a little more humidity, but we will figure more out about that one as we go. And then down here I have a golden pothos, and pothos are a super easy beginner plant. This one is growing like crazy already. I split it in half. It was super big, but these are just very easy to take care They like to dry out in between watering, so letting the soil get super dry is totally fine. New leaves come in like crazy. I've been doing a little bit of research and I'm finding out that they actually, because they are a climbing plant, they do really well climbing up. So I'm thinking I might put it in a bigger pot and then get a pole in there and let that climb up, which I think would be super pretty, because then I can put it as a floor plant and let it grow in like a corner or something. So yeah, we'll see what we do with that. Then next here I have a Birkin philodendron. I did a little short series and I probably will continue adding to that series, but this baby was nice and big and I tend to overwater to be honest, so I gave that one root rot. I did the same thing with my Monstera. So figuring it out, they definitely like to have a more aerated soil, more like orchid bark and thicker chunky soils. So that one I had to cut it back quite a bit, and now it's in water and it's slowly growing some roots. I might need to trim some of it back, but I've just been really keeping an eye on it and making sure that not growing any more root rot, that it stays healthy, and then I would eventually like to get that one back into some soil. The sooner the better, because I feel like it'll do better in soil than in the water. These ones are in a west facing window. I have this window here, or door, and these get the light from there. Unfortunately, don't have any south facing windows. Those ones are like in my bathrooms, which they're like tiny windows and they're not going to get a lot of light anyways. So I take advantage of my west facing window here. I get a lot of light, and this room, this kitchen, gets pretty warm. That'll be good come summertime. It'll get pretty humid up in here. So these plants should do fairly well. And there's this other pothos up here. This one is half of the other one that I showed you, and it's getting some really cute new leaves in there, some new growth. So this one's happy. Now in my bedroom here, I have this Dracaena. I want to say it's like a lemon lime. It might be called something else. I'm not 100% sure. But these leaves kind of like curl, and it has this really pretty pattern on here. But this one's super cute. These Dracaenas are slow growing. It's grown since I've had it, but they grow super slow. Kind of one of those plants that you just enjoy the process, right? The Dracaena is pretty resilient. It does like to be a little bit on the moist side, but of course not crazy like overwatered. So that one's doing pretty good as well, and it does well in low light, which is good because I don't have a whole lot of good window lighting. I guess I have no south facing light. Then I have this snake plant here. I have a few of these throughout the house, and these are getting some new growth as well. Snake plants are really easy to take care of. If you have no plants and you're really like trying to start to get some, I would totally start with the snake plant because they're just super duper easy. They like to be dry in between watering, as long as they're getting some good drainage. I even found out recently that you can water them from underneath and the roots like grow down, so that makes it super easy. If you have a good tray at the bottom, you could probably just fill that up with water and let the plant grab the water from there. So super easy. They're very cute. Like snake plants are super cute and aesthetic. They grow very big. Mine are pretty small, so with time they will get nice and big, which I can't wait for. That'll be super nice to have huge snake plants around my house. But yeah, snake plants, start there. Very good option. And over here I have a north facing window, so not a whole lot of light. And this one is my newest addition. This is a peace lily. This plant is so beautiful. I actually really love the leaves on this plant. I just think they're absolutely just gorgeous. The peace lilies are pretty low maintenance as well. They like to stay on the moist side. They do well in low light as well, so that's why I chose to put it here by this window, and they don't like any direct sun, so I think this one should thrive here. I do think it needs to be repotted, so I will do that soon as well. And I have a umbrella tree here. This is a dwarf umbrella tree. Schefflera is the name. And this one I actually got a cutting, or some little baby plants that came off of my mom's at her house. And these are really cute. It's growing really nice here. This one does well with low light as well, so that one's hanging out here pretty nice. And then we got another snake plant. So that is it for my houseplant tour. I know I don't have a whole lot, but I feel like I do have a really good collection to start with. I also really like the fact that there are good types of plants to have for a beginner and low maintenance. I am still learning, so I don't want to like bombard myself with a ton of plants that are going to be like high maintenance to take care of. So, you know, that's a very good place to start. If you don't have any plants and you like want to start getting some, then all of these ones can be really good options for you to start with. And if your plants are like, you have these plants and they're just not getting as big as you would like, or they're not doing very well, then, you know, do a little bit of research. You can leave a comment and ask me. I'm like totally always open and willing to share the information that I have learned. But YouTube is a huge like library of information. People are always sharing their experiences, you know, seasoned house plant parents, and there's some really good information that you can find. So do your research, find out what's going on with your plants, you know, find out if you don't have any plants yet, find out, you know, what kind of plants can thrive in your condition, your home conditions. If you have, you know, drier air, if you have more humidity, if you have, you know, not a whole lot of light, you might want to get plants that can survive in low light. So those are the types of things to think about when starting. And the really cool thing about houseplants is a lot of them are very resilient. A lot of them will survive in pretty much any type of environment, as long as you're giving them, you know, enough light, proper oil or proper soil and water drainage, and the right amount of humidity helps as well. So if you are in a dry climate, like I'm in Arizona, it gets pretty dry. Putting a humidifier would actually probably benefit my plants quite a bit. So things like that. Do your research, or, you know, hang around my channel and we can learn together. Like I said, I'm just starting off, so I'm learning as I go. So stick around and we can learn together, take our time, and eventually create the other plant jungle, or just have some good, nice, healthy houseplants around. So thank you so much for watching, for sticking around and checking out my houseplants. If you have any questions or any input, if you see there's something that I could do differently based upon what I said, I'm always looking forward to hearing some constructive criticism, and I am always willing to learn. And if you haven't done so already, then hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned with our plant journey here and see how far we can go, right? Let's see what we can do. I do post videos, weekly shorts. I do post lifestyle content based around motherhood, plants, cooking, things like that, essential oils. I love to do things a little naturally. And if you would like to see like daily, weekly content, see things a little bit behind the scenes, then you can go and follow me over on Instagram, and I like to post stories over there as well. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. You guys have a good one. Until next time, bye.